So, welcome to the National Concert Hall's International Master Course. And this afternoon, I have the enormous pleasure of welcoming one of the world's most outstanding viola players, Kim Kashkashian, to give a masterclass to three viola players from different parts of the world who are standing by. First, Kim, you might hopefully not blush too much as I read out some of your biography to our listeners and our viewers. Winner of the 2013 Grammy Award for Best Classical Instrumental Solo Album for her recording Kortag Ligeti Music for Viola, Kim Kashkashian is recognized internationally as a unique voice on the viola. Kim was awarded the George Peabody Medal for Outstanding Contributions to Music in America, as well as the prestigious Golden Bow Award of Switzerland. She was inducted into the American Academy of Arts and Sciences in 2016. As an advocate of contemporary music, she has developed creative relationships with Georgi Kortag, Krzysztof Penderecki, Alfred Schnittke, Gia Cancelli, and Arvo Pärt, and premiered commissioned works by Peter Erdfuss, Betty Olivero, Ken Ueno, Thomas Lacher, Lera Auerbach, and Tigran Mansourian. As a soloist, Kashkashian has appeared with the orchestras of Berlin, London, Vienna, Milan, New York, and Cleveland, in collaboration with Eschenbach, Mehta, Welser-Möst, Kotschich, Russell Davies, Blumstedt, Robertson, and Holliger. Wow. Kim, we're delighted to have you with us. Thank you so much for being here. We're not in the same room, but we are linked by that wonderful technology that is the internet. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for including me.
Well, it's our honor. I would also just like to mention to our viewers that this masterclass will last approximately 2 hours. Each participant will receive approximately 40 minutes, and immediately after the 40 minutes, the three 40-minute classes, there will be a Q&A session with Kim, quite short. So if you are watching online, you can submit questions for Kim at any time via the YouTube live chat. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce our first viola player to play for Kim, play for us, and he's going to start with no less than the maestro himself, Johann Sebastian Bach. He's going to play two movements from the D minor cello suite, arranged for viola, the Prelude and Allemande, and we're going to hear Benedict Ung. Benedict is a violist from Singapore. He read music in King's College London, graduating with first-class honours before moving up to Glasgow to study at the Royal College in Scotland. Ben is a recipient of the Associated Board of the Royal Schools of Music High Scorers Award and the Anthony and Susan Chow International Travel Prize. He's blessed to have had the opportunity to learn under his principal teachers, James Slay and Duncan Ferguson. He has performed in numerous countries such as Taiwan, China, Malaysia, Germany, and the UK. Ben has also worked with esteemed musicians through projects such as the Irish Chamber Orchestra Academy, the Berlin Opera Academy, and the Hebrides Academy. So, Ben, you're welcome to our class, and I would invite you to now take it away and perform some Bach for us. Thank you so much, and enjoy the class.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, bravo, Ben. It's very, very beautiful. And the thing that's especially good is that you're playing with very, very pure intention. I really like that.
Thank you.
That's great. Okay, so I think that the first thing we should talk about is a Bach articulation. In general, we want every note in Bach or every slur, every articulated group, to have not only a horizontal but a vertical shape. And this is something I think we could work on very well. And there are many, many aspects to this. Some of them are physical, and so it's a little hard for us to work this way, especially because I don't know you. But the basic gesture, maybe you could try, if you would put down the bow for a second. Yeah. And swing your arm for me like a pendulum in front of your body. Yeah, there you go, like that. Now, do the same thing with a bent elbow. But try to feel the same weight that you feel here with a straight elbow. Yeah. Okay. Now, that is the essential Bach gesture. And right now, there are some things in your body, and probably therefore in your brain, that are holding you back from doing that. So the idea that you go beneath and into the string with a pendulum-like feeling, a weighted feeling and a released feeling, is something that you want to, I'm getting my viola, something that you really want to practice in a way that becomes natural to you. A very good test for this in Baroque music is to hold your bow further up. Because that way you can really feel the center. It's easier to feel the elbow working and actually the shoulder blade working. This stroke comes from the back. It's steered and guided by your shoulder blade. Have you been told this before?
Not the mechanics of it, but understand this shape, which I'm still trying to work on.
Yeah. So essentially, your bow shape is molding or sculpting the string, not painting on the string. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you think of it that way, you have to get from the top of the string down under it and back to its original top point. Okay, so what I'd like you to do first is please try doing that stroke but with many notes many times in one bow direction, because it's a little easier to feel it without changing directions. So we're going to do what we call a basic pulsation, but you can keep your hand here. So you're actually making a semicircle with the elbow, and therefore very important that you feel it from your shoulder blade. Do you know where your shoulder blade is? Yeah, good. Okay, so that's actually going around too. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I think you just felt it. So try that for me. Okay, can you tell that you're actually moving the wrist this instead of the elbow? So yeah. So imagine there's a pencil attached to your elbow bone, and it's going to draw a semicircle or a smile. Yes, there you go. Yeah.
Yes.
Good job. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So be careful. You don't want to be doing it with the viola. It's good that your whole body is doing it right now. It's a good way to feel it. But in the end, if you do this too, then you're just chasing your tail, and you don't have the depth and release that you need in the string. Okay. So you're being a very, very open and courageous guinea pig here for me. Thank you. But I think it's important that you understand the basics of this stroke. Yes. Yeah. And you also want a sense of relaxation and a giving quality in the hand and wrist. Otherwise, you can't really feel the weight. You know? And your model for this is the swing of the pendulum, the natural weight this way. And when you get accustomed to it, this feels exactly the same.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Yes. It's a weight and release. Little mini pendulums. Yeah. Good. Excellent. Yeah. Okay, so taking that as a premise, every Bach stroke or set of notes requires that you do that. You will never want to paint on your strings in Bach. You will always want to sculpt into your strings. Okay, so that having been said, how about we're going to put that aside for now, because this takes months to accomplish so that it becomes your default natural way. So I'm going to leave you to discover that on your own.
Yeah.
Let's just talk a little bit about the music, aside from this issue.
Yeah.
So we want to really set up what could be seen as a D pedal tone. We can see this, that each bar has a different harmony, but we can also hear that there's a D pedal going through the whole first phrase. So there's a certain degree of tension, in a good sense, of forward moving tension or stretching of capacity in this phrase. So you could go, and that should feel like a release. Right? You've made now you're going to take us on a new adventure. And each of those second bar upbeats takes you on a new adventure. Yeah? Okay, try that first phrase for me. Okay, good. I think we need a little bit the sense of colors. So, and this has to be a leading sound. So, another important thing, your first beats have to be more weighted. Your third beats are almost always traveling to a new position, to a new premise. So therefore, the texture in your bow has to be a little different. So there's more resistance, more weight. And now lighter. And again, travel. So your arrivals, harmonic modulations, or arrival points have to be shown by a lighter stroke before them. A traveling stroke.
So like it's like more of a like lighter color in order to.
Yeah, a lighter texture. Might even be the same color, but your texture has to go from, well, to use a really mundane example, from mud to water. Something that you're working to get through to something that flows easily.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is usually about weight and speed. Right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, try that again.
Sorry, let me.
Yeah. Have the patience to just sink into your sound. Exhale for me. Good. Yeah.
Yes.
Everything was good except your resolving bar, which I didn't understand. You kind of didn't go there, which I think you have to say, this is your premise. Ha! This is where I was going. That's actually in this case, it's not a period at the end of the sentence grammatically, but it's a big comma, right? And then this happens. Now, this. And now this. And now this. Okay, so be aware of, well, maybe let me ask you this. This is, you've spent enough time in England with the English language that this is a fair question to ask you. Where are the nouns and where are the verbs in the first phrase?
Well, I mean, I would guess like, to me, like more the sort of like the first two beats, a lot of it are quite like nouns because they're more of like statements, whereas the movement like happens in the last beat kind of thing.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. So your final noun. Now, is this the same? Okay, in that 2-bar unit, which happens a few times, where are the verbs and where are the nouns? Or is it all adjective?
Is it are you talking about are you talking?
This new phrase, yes.
Okay.
The one that starts on the B flat.
Yes. I would say like the first two beats are like quite statement like, so I guess more of nouns, and then it goes on and on, and then noun again. Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
longer sentence.
Yeah, so there's some adjectives in there and then a verb,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, descriptive of the noun and then a verb to take you to the new noun. Right? So we need to think this way. In all music, there's a grammar, there's a balance of wait and release or action and arrival. But in Bach, it's absolutely necessary that we feel that, because understanding and showing your listener what is the function of the beat that you're on in any given meter. Really important. Otherwise, the listener is going to get bored because they're like traveling on, well, you don't have that in England. You only have that in big desert countries or the United States. You're on a highway and you see nothing but cornfields. And it goes and goes and goes for miles, and it's very dangerous because you could fall asleep. And you suffer from the same problem when you're playing Bach. There's not enough landmarks.
Okay.
Clear?
Yes, I understand.
So if you were to look at this tree. Oh my gosh, look on the other side of the road. A fantastic coloring bush. Uh-oh, there's a cow in the road. What am I gonna do? Oh, he's moving. want to take your listener from the first note to this point in one breath. But that breath has lots of hills, little arrivals. So you've got your big arc to here, but you've got to have the little arcs too.
Yes.
Clear?
Yes.
Okay. So why don't you carry on from here? And remember to shape your notes. And we're again operating with a 2-bar unit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good. So if you go, make sure that you have a structure in your mind that's going to carry you through that entire sequence.
Mm-hmm.
So new colors, new nouns every 2 bars.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, from here.
Right.
Lead it up so that we can come down the mountain with you.
Mm-hmm.
Can you try right there?
Yes. Okay.
Very good. This is much more colorful. You just have to please remember that the function of the third beat, especially when you're going to modulating or when you're in a sequence, that third beat sounds too heavy to me most of the time.
Okay.
So basically what you're doing is you're now giving me a good hierarchy of colors. That's great. That's a big improvement. But also give me the hierarchy within the bar.
Okay.
Yeah? Okay, good. So we have so little time. How about we discuss a little bit the Allemande also?
Okay. Sure.
Yeah? Okay. This is again a case of We need to feel whatever you decide to do with a bowing. These almost everything's possible because Miss Anna Magdalena was not as clear as she might have been. Right? So we do have a certain degree of license. Also, if you look and you see what she wrote and what the Kellner manuscript has to say, etc., throughout that century, then you'll see that there's been an evolution in terms of articulation and bowing. And then, maybe even more interesting, take a look at what Honor Bilsma thinks. Do you know, are you familiar with?
Yes.
Yeah, because this is a modern take on having studied that older world. And it's very, very interesting what he has to say, especially about the G major, the first suite, with the completely wacky bowings that he likes to use, which by the end of the movement acquire their own kind of symmetry. Yeah. Okay, but in this, let's not get off topic. In this case, whatever bowing you do, if it's four notes, or you need the pendulum feeling. And I would propose that our chords must be treated the same way.
Yes.
That you must understand that you're going heavy, light. Instead of, you're not actually going to the top of the chord. You're going to the middle of the chord. In this case, so the top of the chord is your release point.
Yes. And then try.
Right? Yeah, yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, yeah, but so really feel the pull is good. That second to last one was the best.
Okay. Okay, I get it. That's it.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah, so then you same idea. So we're really talking. We have pronunciation, we have grammar, we have texture and color.
Yes. Should I try it?
Yes, yes, please. Okay. Good, better. You know what? Go back to this idea. And I would like to see if we get a little better the sense of that depth and release in your pronunciation. Okay? Because it's flattened out again. So if you yeah.
Yeah, sorry, that's just 5 minutes. Yeah. Yeah.
Good. Does that mean we should stop for questions now?
I think the questions is all the way at the end. Yeah, the questions are all the way at the end, and
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So try that again with your bow in the fake Baroque position.
Okay.
It rather imitates having a Baroque bow in your hand if you put your hand, almost a third of the way up. Yeah. Okay, so bring out your extra fast bass line. Okay, that's the fastest moving bass line we've had so far. And this should be released more. That must sound improvisatory.
Okay.
Yeah? So a light. Yeah, go ahead. You try it.
No, it's faster.
Yeah. So we want to hear that. As a wonderful arrival.
Okay.
Okay, very good. Okay, so to recap, the hierarchy of the meter, which means you have to choose to use a different kind of bow or texture for your traveling notes, the notes that are traveling to a new harmony. The hierarchy of the phrase, so that you have a sense of where the modulations are taking you and what kind of a small mountain do you want to be climbing. And then the hierarchy of the movement, so you can pick where's the top of the actual mountain in the entire movement. Okay, so that's about the shaping. Then think about your basic stroke needs to come from your back, and it's like a pendulum. So you've got a sense of release, wait, release, release, wait, release, release, wait, release on any single note or any set of notes that are slurred.
Yeah.
Yeah, that. And a great way for you to practice it, because it's relaxing your hand also, is to put your hands a little bit more central in the bow. It makes you feel it better.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And have the courage to go for your colors. Okay? Okay, bravo.
Thank you
Good job.
Thank you very much for everything. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ben and Kim. And now it gives me pleasure to welcome our next participant in this afternoon's class. We have Karis Barnes and pianist Jen Carter, who are going to play the first movement of York Bowen's Viola Concerto. Karis has just finished her first year at the Royal Academy of Music in London, where she has a scholarship and has won the Theodore Holland Viola Prize. She studies viola with Martin Outram, violin with Joshua Fisher, and singing with Catherine Wynne Rogers at the Academy. Previously, she studied as a specialist musician at Wells Cathedral School. She played in the National Youth Orchestra and co-led the National Youth String Orchestra of Great Britain as a violinist, and has attained courses such as Music Works, Pro Corda, and National Strings. So please welcome Karis Barnes, accompanied on the piano by Jen Carter.
Okay, bravo, bravo. Karis, is it?
Yes, yeah.
Karis, okay. Well, it's a big heroic piece, right?
Yes, definitely.
And I think that one of our biggest challenges in a piece like this is to make a good mountain for the listener to climb. So it requires a certain amount of thought on your part to make the phrase lengths long enough.
Yeah.
Right? So right now, there are some simple things that could help you. One is that when you have an interval that is going to an arrival point, so if you look at see, all of those need to be growing.
Yeah.
Right now they sound all like, well, I just want to say neutral instead of eager to get to show us the next one and the next one, so that your final arrival has to be, stunning and like more fulfilled.
Yeah.
Okay. And I would say even in your first phrase that this is the case. It's good that you start with some bite, but you have to know where you're going. I don't get any sense of that's where you want to go, small picture. You have been heading for that the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You want to try?
Yeah. We can.
much better. First phrase was much better. But think about this. You have that's one singer's breath. That is another person on the stage.
Yeah.
You need two colors. You need to modulate it yourself so that you can show us another level. So I'd actually say start a little darker. And try to, and this is the other issue, is making sure that your bow distribution isn't, how can I say this for someone I don't know? I am too interested in your bow changes, directional changes. That's not always what you want to hear here, because you need to go through a bow change to get the longer phrase. So basically, you need to choose your impulse points and your arrival points better and not have bow changes be impulses.
Yes.
Okay, so right now you're going. So the listener thinks there's been 3 or 4 events instead of one event.
Yeah.
Right? So in my studio, we practice it by pulsating in the bow. So subdividing and pulsating, which shows us when we're using too much bow speed. So when it's not consistent. So if you go, you're going to see that, oh my God, I'm going to run out of bow. I'm going to get to the tip way too soon. Right? That's the problem. So how do we solve it? We have some choices, but one of them isn't. Okay, so if you need to get yourself back to the frog, you don't want to do it right on your bow change. You want to hide it and do it afterwards. So this D and the F, they need to be the same bow speed. Then you can go. This F and G need to be the same bow speed. Then you can. Okay?
Yeah.
So try that slowly with pulsation without your pianist. Yeah. Why don't you do what he wrote instead of changing? So if you go, these are. Because this is extended by a, and if you go, if you do that, you've taken away from his phrasing. Yeah, okay, so if you think of your bow as moving in miles per hour, wait, where are you? Kilometers or miles?
Miles.
Miles, okay. Miles per hour. Then you are going to make your passenger seasick. Because that car is going 5-2, 5-2, 5-2 all the time. Is not a good idea. You've got to accelerate gradually. So if you're going, let's say that's 2 miles. This has to be alto. Then you can accelerate. Okay, so be a good sport. I'm going to imitate what you're doing.
Okay, yeah.
Gonna be a little nasty, okay? Okay. You see how that's like the listener or rider is going to get very confused if you keep doing that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, the change to up bows were now excellent. The change to down bows, I think you weren't thinking about it.
Okay. Yeah.
Same problem. Yeah. Okay, good. So this method of watching how much bow you're actually using by pulsating and subdividing is an excellent practice. And in general, if you're playing a cantabile phrase, you do not want the change of bow direction to be shown as speed impulse.
Yes.
That's the general picture here. Okay, so then let's look at the bigger picture. This needs to be brighter than. And even more. Okay, so you're really helping us climb the mountain with you. Okay. Good. Okay, that's much better. Your intentions were clear.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to bring up one more technical point for you. As you go up the instrument, it would be good if you paid more attention to the sound of your vibrato, which seems to get the amplitude should grow if you want a good arrival like that. It seems like the further up you go, the more constricted you are.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm wondering if you might want to think, and I'm throwing out this idea as something to explore technically. When you go up and around, if you might want to think more like a cellist in thumb position, let your thumb be more free so that you can actually use the arm. What I'm seeing for you is that you're stuck. The bout of the instrument and the forearm are stuck. And you really can't vibrate enough in its amplitude. You need the freedom of this. Yeah. Yeah. So our exercise, okay, this is a bit funny. It's going to sound funny. It's well worth trying. Completely free, swing from the elbow up and around. Okay, you're doing this. See where your thumb is? Okay, that means you're limited. You can only go so far. Let your thumb move with the palm of your hand. Yeah, let it go up and around. Good. Now, if you practice that for a while and really feel the freedom of that gesture, right, then you can find, oh, actually, if I'm playing, I've already come around. My natural place is here, not here, but here. Yeah. So that's, that's a violist's, the bane of our existence, right? One of the banes of our existence is being free coming up around the bout of the instrument so you can sing. The shorter the string length gets, the more we have to think about creating resonance. Yeah?
Yeah.
So play for me. As freely as you can.
Sorry.
That was better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So it takes a certain amount of, initially, it takes a lot of courage to believe that you can bring your thumb around like that. But what I do when the thumb comes around is I'm balancing here. The thumb is pushing that way, right?
Yeah.
And therefore the fingers are pulling this way, so that the thumb and the finger are self-opposing. And then it feels extremely secure. And I have the motion in my hand because the arm is free. Okay, and I don't know, it looks to me like we're about the same size. I'm 5'6", and I have short arms. So when I come up around, I already need this. If I don't, it's limited. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Okay, so why don't you try the whole first phrase now, keeping all these things in mind
Okay.
with your pianist. Yeah. So you're an absolute heroic figure, and you've taken us this far. Now you breathe. Yeah. Okay, good. Now the next phrase is a case in point for me about the bow impulse, because you want to connect. What I'm hearing die. So and here too. More. So again, it's quite an extended phrase.
Yeah.
Yeah. Try. Carries. You're in piano, you're on the A string, molto espressivo. Maybe you should keep that slur.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I think, like a singer. Taya. Not two words, one word. was excellent. I think there's speak. So again, rising. And from here on, I would re-speak that, reiterate. And think about your sequencing from here. A little more. So it's all in 2-bar steps that you have to take. And you can choose if you can manage to go up, 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 or if you need to drop down in order to come up. But we need to feel the steps you're taking. Yeah, better. Okay, try that with your pianist now. Okay, better. So let me remind you, just it's a little thing, but it counts, about the bow speed issue. If you go, you're making those 2 notes too important. Even here, not, but if all those notes were in one bow, try that in fact, then you'll hear and feel. Now just do that. Good, good. Okay. How about we jump to the second theme? And again, you have what looks to me like 2 halves, well, 2 quarters, and then a big half to make the whole half. And I need to hear as one unit. second quarter of the first half. And okay, so I sped it up just to make those shapes clear, right? Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so here's the problem. You've got to watch. You don't want an accent. And here too, because so make sure that your bow changes are creating one breath. So that's good. That makes us understand and enjoy the arrival quite a bit more. Good? Okay. Okay. Now, the next passage leads us into some of those issues of playing with a warm vibrato up high, right? So let's try that next passage too. Okay, so that was the test passage, right? So making sure that you can continue to make that vibrato grow. Yeah, so each one of those, let's just go up. Until you come to the D, okay? So a very funny sound. And look at the thumb, free. Right, that's what you want it to sound like and feel like.
Yes.
Okay, so sometimes these freedom exercises mean it's a really economic way to learn a new technique. So this business of, or you find out where your natural position could be, and it's much less restrictive. Yeah.
Should I try that passage again?
You can try it again and give me good arrivals, right? So. Okay, so each one is a mini celebration leading up to the top. Yeah. Okay, so like that. I think we're running out of time. Yeah. So, do I have a few more minutes or?
You have 2 more minutes, Kim. One
Great.
minute.
Okay.
1 minute.
Okay, Carrie, so I want to show you something. When you play the viola as opposed to the violin, you need more action in your fingertip for vibrato. That's also a very good exercise for you. So you're rolling the tip of your finger more backwards. Practically, the exercise takes you practically a half step back. Can you try that for me once? Okay, I'm going to propose what you're doing is kind of pulling the finger back and forth. But because of our leverage issues, we're farther away from our center. That actually makes it easier if you would rock the fingertip rather than pull it. So imagine the bottom of a rocking chair. That your fingertip is the shape of the bottom of a rocker. And you're going from the front of the rocker to the back of the rocker with no friction. So you can think about that because you don't really want to have friction in your vibrato.
Yeah.
You want to have release in your vibrato. Yeah. Okay. Great. Good job.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Carrots. Thank you so much, Kim. I'm sure you need a little break now, and I'm glad to announce that we will have a short break of between 3 and 5 minutes. And just to remind people who are watching this on YouTube that they can submit any questions for Kim on the live chat, and we will bring those to Kim after the third participant who will play for us just after this short break. So all cameras and mics off, please, now, and we will resume in about 4 minutes. Thank you, Kim. Thank you so much. So, welcome back to our masterclass with Kim Kashkashian as part of the National Concert Hall's International Master Course. I am Finian Collins, co-artistic director of the course with Gwendolyn Mason, and we are greatly honoured to have Kim with us. We've had two great classes, and now we're going to hear our third violist, Gustavo Robello, who's standing by in Aveiro in western Portugal. He's going to play some Hindemith for us. Gustavo started playing viola at 8 years of age in the Gulbenkian Conservatory of Music in Aveiro. Currently, he's studying with Antonio Pereira in the University of Aveiro and Ana Bela Chavez. Throughout the years, he has participated in several courses and masterclasses with musicians such as Miguel da Silva, Tatiana Masurenko, Harolf Schiltlik, Gerard Cousset, Matej Such, Leo De Neve, and Ana Bela Chavez. He is also currently a scholarship holder for the Liechtenstein Music Academy, the Marvaio Music Academy and Festival, and the Verraio Classico Music Festival and Academy. So welcome to Gustavo, and he's going to perform for us now the first and second movements from Paul Hindemith's Viola Sonata, Opus 25, number 1. Thank you, Gustavo.
Okay. Wonderful. Very, very, very beautiful playing. Okay. It's hot where you are, huh? So, a couple of things about this first theme, which we can just think about. Maybe the bright combined with the line means not so much an accented sound as a resistant sound. So right now you're going... I wonder if we might not want something that has more pull to it. And then keep the same density on your up bow. So a difference of pronunciation, texture, and also equality in the up bow. I'm asking for a lot of change. Yeah. Good. So, I like very much your approach when the bar you just played, which doesn't have the lines. I actually think that is the correct, what you're doing there would be the correct way to start. That the lines don't mean a hard consonant. It doesn't mean ta, ta, or even pa, pa, but ya, ya.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can do it. I can see that you, and hear that you're able to do that thing, but I would start that way. So there's nothing harsh about this. And if you could also give me... So we really hear this. Very good. Now, Gustavo, I have, now I'm going to ask you to be my guinea pig. Play these next two bars with one finger. Because it is all about the stretching of the interval, right? So right now, you're treating those lines as if it meant to separate the notes into discrete boxes. I think it means to connect them. So if you're more comfortable, you can do this like that. Good, now combine it in one bow. So really pulling at the fabric between the intervals. Okay, you're doing it very well externally, but I have the feeling you're not quite feeling it inside you, so I'm going to have to ask you to do something even more guinea pig-like. Could you sing it for me? But with glissandi. Yeah, so we're going. It's very hard to climb that mountain. He falls back a step every time, still trying to climb. So put a lot of effort into it.
In singing?
Yeah. So you really feel it in your body, in your belly. Great. That's exactly the expression that you want with the bow. So try it now with the viola, but sing along in your mind. Sing along that way. That was really good until the end. And then you... And so that the next bar is a shock. Yeah. Yeah, so make a diminuendo. And I think that the lack of lines here is about a change of resistance.
So that thing you were talking about, water and mud?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, so here we are. And the next thing to talk about is very interesting how many ties and syncopations there are. And it's important, I think, to bring them out. So we have one. So we have to feel those ones. Yeah? Okay.
From where would you like me to go?
Yeah. Play just from here on. It's very good. I think you could change your sound more to show us where one is. And a good way to practice that is to actually say one when you get there. Because it's not easy to do a one. One. And then you start to feel it. It's a kind of release instead of arrival, the one, because each case it's springing you forward, right?
Okay.
Yeah. You can try right there.
Okay. One.
Yeah. It's important that we understand that. One. Because those are the moments that spring you forward in the phrase. So they're kind of like a compressed spring that releases. Try it once more and we'll go on.
With the ones or just normally?
It's good practice.
Okay. One.
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 Very good. Okay, that final one, you can almost feel that is not springing forward because that's where a new unit will start, right? So after you've gone, this needs to grow. I would start a little less. So we arrive more here. And now I'm going to ask you for something even harder. Tell me where the beats are. 1, 2. Okay, this is a Hindemith does this to us all the time. The pattern and the meter do not coincide. The grid is not the same. The grid is off. And in the best case, we show our listeners both things. The pattern is easy to pick up. The meter sometimes not so much. Very good. Exactly. You were able to feel both things. That's excellent. Yeah. Okay. Again, in your accelerando, probably another Hindemith challenge that he throws at us in practically every piece that we play, all 7 sonatas, is a crescendo that lasts a really long time. Right? Sometimes pages long. In this case, not too bad, but still very important that we keep our level down so that we have enough to show the real arrival. So this should only be a mezzo piano. Mezzo forte maybe. Forte maybe, but maybe not, because you still have to do one more repetition. Okay, so you see how you have to, maybe a good practice is to do it backwards. How loud are you here? And then give me 1 half dynamic lower, and now 1. I am at piano there already. So I have to start not forte piano, but forte pianissimo.
Okay.
And
To go from there?
carefully modulate your way up. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's your final beruhigen, because you want to beruhig to the tempo. So you might be getting too slow too soon.
Okay. Yeah.
My feeling is that you did. Also, in your attempt to make that crescendo, it started really well, but this seemed to me too loud too soon. You didn't really have enough room to take steps. And of course, when the notes repeat, you need to change something. In this case, we can change the energy in the sound by using more bow or more articulation, but also dynamics, right? So this, from here, so you've got more emphasis in every way. Now, I wonder about that. Many people do this. They change the tempo here. I think you want to maybe keep your tempo. Yeah, so start with a more brilliant tempo. Don't make your beruhigen too soon, because then you're below the tempo that you want to arrive at. Right? We don't have a whole lot of time. So maybe we should skip into some issues in the second movement. Okay, so I would like to see you really define this crescendo by using bow speed. So this is about 1/8 of a bow. Maybe a little more, maybe a half. Whole bow. And if you do that, you will get a natural unpressed crescendo. I've gotten to the middle, but so that's the miles per hour we were talking about. Better. Yeah, the thing is that your down bow sounds too strong for you. Okay, not too heavy on that down bow. Two things. I'm very happy that you're making those accents, but they are under a slur. So that's a different use of the bow. So you have to push the bow with weight and pushing. You do not want to stop. Not that, but okay. Just try it by itself. Good. Yeah, let me say it another way. Make sure that it's one syllable. Ya, ya, ya. Not ya, ta, ba. Ya, ya, ya. It's just tonguing. Yes, good, good, good. Yes. Yeah, so it's more like tonguing, but not pronouncing. Good, very good. Excellent. Now, you've just started my next issue with you, which is that you're playing triplets here. I'm hearing so guinea pig time. Play it out. Yeah. Okay. So make sure that you actually use that rhythm, that your bow has enough patience to wait for the right time for the 16th. Okay. Yeah. Try. Yeah, good. So you've got to save your crescendo here too, right? Especially when you have repeated notes. You need to go. Here we go. And I have to say that I don't love the free changes of bow.
Okay, I can.
Maybe you have to change, but it should sound like you're slurring. Please don't give up the idea of the slur.
Okay.
Because this interval very important, and it's a precursor to in the third movement. Yeah, it's the same expression, intervallic tension, which you can show if you divide your bow, but it's certainly easier to at least practice the feeling and the emotion with the slur, like a singer.
Okay.
Try. Yeah. The same thing you did. Don't separate. Okay? Very good. But again, use your new bow distribution here. Very extreme, I think, in the bow distribution. Yeah, that will give you those impulsive swells where the impulsivity is strong, but you're not actually pushing down. You don't want it to feel pressed. Yeah. Okay, always the third eighth note seems out of the logic. It's too strong for the logic of the crescendo. Yeah. Yeah. So I like your fingering because it allows you to feel. So the internal tensions of the melodic tension, very important. And that takes us back to so we want those steps. Try it. Very good. Give yourself the room. He finally lets you out of the trap. Okay, so you're building up, compressing your energy and then releasing your energy. So I don't want you to lose those accents. Play it on one note for me and vibrate especially on the accent. Good. Good. Now do the same way. The accent is also in the left hand. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You're playing triplets.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's a habit and you need to rethink. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's just about being patient and waiting. And actually, the impulse, attaching the 16th to the next dotted eighth rather than the other way around. It's not, it's, so the impulse in the body is on the 16th note, not on the long note. You're doing both. Make the dotted eighth a passive action, not an active action. Yes. Bravo. Yes. Yeah. I'm wondering if you flattened your fingers on the fifths a little bit, if you might have a better chance with pitch. But I'm quite I don't know if you can see.
Yes, I can.
Okay. Flatten it out. Think on the diagonal. Yeah, especially your second finger doesn't want to do that yet. Yeah. Okay, so I mean, think about it this way. Not a helicopter coming down with the finger, but an airplane making a really smooth landing.
Yeah, of course.
So the finger goes to the fingerboard like an airplane, not like a helicopter. Ah, that's so interesting. You're pulling the wrist back for it, which for me would make it harder. If I brought my wrist in, I would be more likely to have that. This makes it more perpendicular. This makes it more diagonal.
So should I flatten the wrist?
If I'm I'm in this position, I have a diagonal approach here with the finger. As soon as I do this, it's going to be more perpendicular. So bring your wrist in even more. So yeah, it will take some experimentation. I have found that it works. It works, for me, it works better that way. Of course not, everybody's built differently. But I would maybe try this business of... Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, of course.
Huh. It's worth playing around with. Actually, it's I think not only good for fifths. I think it's probably good attitude in the hand for everything, but especially for fifths. Yeah, because you can just cover a little more territory with the fingertip. Yeah. Okay. Gustavo, you might have some questions for me, yourself, about technique or anything.
About
What's bothering you?
I remember I had a question. Oh, yes. When you talked about the trap Hinmith makes us in the last line of the first page of the second movement, how do you have any advice on
Yeah, I do.
more comfortable?
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a case in point. If I'm going, I'm preparing my finger for that position. So bring your wrist in, and then you're right there. You're doing this. Then you have to move everything. You have to move all of that. If you move that in advance, move your arm forward. You're going to move yourself forward. So this is like a pivot point, which takes you to the little inner shift that you have to make.
Sorry, the chat is warning me to tell you that we have 4 minutes left.
This is a good way to spend them.
Nice.
You're jumping. You've stayed in the same place. Then you have to go far. You're doing that. Try this. So you put your arm here while you're here. It's a readjustment. It's a different way of thinking about positions. essentially, this is about learning to use the left arm and hand to transition. That transition doesn't have to be in a block. Okay, so if I'm going, that's first position. Now I have to get to second. That's one way to do it. That's taking step, 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 right?
Yes.
But you could also get there this way. Slide, 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 slide. With using the body first. So that's the body means, in this case, the upper arm. I'm already there. Instead of, which is box, box, and box. I'm saying take away the one side of the box. Make this and this the same. But the side of the box is gone. Am I being sort of clear?
Half of the position changes then with the arm, and the other half is with the finger.
Yes. And if you precede moving the finger by moving the arm, then it will release very quickly. You won't have the problem of picking it up and releasing it. It will already be ready to go. So this is about release and transition. Those are the two key thoughts. That's perfectly fine if I'm just going back and forth. If I'm going, or even further, the more I help myself in advance, can you see it?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, okay, so it's smooth. Yeah, it's a coordination of transition.
Okay, understood.
Yeah, okay, great, so bravo.
Thank you.
Keep working the way you are. You're in great shape. Okay, good.
Thank you so much, Kim and Gustavo. It's wonderful to see such progress in such a short time. You can feel the moments of breakthrough where the sound just improves and you get places. So thank you, Kim, for bringing your knowledge and insight to these young players.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Thank you. I think now, if Gustavo and Karis and Ben are still with us, I think they might have a couple of questions for you, and then I have one or two questions that have come through on the YouTube chat, so we'll get through them fairly quickly. So do you want to start? Maybe Ben?
Hi Kim, thanks for everything. Just wanted to ask, I'm not sure if you experience periods where sometimes you just feel like you're not playing performing as well as you usually should, and how do you get out of these periods if you do experience them?
Well, first of all, I think, Ben, we almost never perform as well as we would like. I remember I was living in Berlin, so I was past 45, and I was performing the Bartok Concerto with the big East German orchestra, and it was something I had really, really worked very hard for. And actually, miraculously enough, I walked on stage and things flowed and went well, and I felt good. And I was actually doing what I wanted. And so afterwards, I called up my teacher, Karen Tuttle, and I said, Karen, I have to tell you, I finally did on stage what I wanted to do on stage. And she said, How old are you, dearie? I said, let's imagine, 47. And she said, oh, you're so lucky. That didn't happen to me until I was after 50. So this is to be expected, that we don't always perform, let's say, the way we envision our best, because there are so many factors that we cannot predict. We cannot predict what the audience resonance and feeling is going to give us. We cannot predict how we're going to feel on the stage. Maybe there's going to be a cold wind. Maybe something's going to be creaking. Maybe somebody's phone goes off. Maybe we're exceptionally nervous because someone's in the audience who we are afraid of their judgment, right? And all of these things can affect us, but the most important thing, which has helped me perhaps the most, is two thoughts. One is to ground my energy, to make sure my energy is going down into the floor, past the stage, underneath, into the ground, like the roots of a tree. And then the stuff that's happening up here is not excessively in conflict. It basically takes the conflict out of your motion to ground yourself. That's one. Number two, the thing that's helped me so much is to, the more nervous I am, the more I imagine that I'm actually talking, that every sound I make has a word attached to it, and I'm saying something very important to the audience. And in dire straits, when I'm really nervous, I imagine that somebody is about to put duct tape over my mouth, and I will never be able to talk to my beloved friends again. So this is my chance to tell them everything I want to tell them. And when I think that way, it takes away the nerves. It takes away the conflict, because I want to give everything. This is something that actually was proposed to me by the great and now late Leon Fleischer, who just passed at the age of 92. When I was a kid, it must have been 18, 19, I went to a master class where he was coaching, and I played the first movement of Arpeggione, and my bow was shaking rather horribly. And afterwards he said, you know, Kim, if you had enough positive thoughts in your mind of what you wanted to do, there would be no room for those kind of nerves. It's another way of saying what I came to, which is talk it out, as if it were your last chance. And honestly, for me, it's worked, and I had a big problem. So those two ways of looking at it have helped me a lot. Okay.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kim.
Yeah.
Karis, are you there with your question?
Yes, yeah. I'd just like to ask Kim about how she approaches planning a concert or recital program that shows all the different sides of the viola.
Well, I don't necessarily limit it to sides of the viola in my mind, because what about all those great transcriptions? And what about all the things we get to steal and so on? So I wouldn't want to limit it that way, number one. Number two, maybe think of it as a meal or a day's worth of meals. And you want a balanced picture, right? You want, and literally you want it to look right and have the right textures and the right odors. So you say, okay, if I've got a French feeling leafy vegetable, then I better put a turnip next to it. And if I've got those two things, maybe I need a little relish, maybe something with some pepper. Okay, so I have now given myself a Debussy transcription, a Brahms sonata, which I don't want to compare to a turnip, but you know what I mean, and maybe something very contemporary, a group of Kortag pieces, or maybe even Stravinsky, something, something that has pepper to it. And if you think that way, and you think, okay, that's plate number 1, plate number 2 had better be an even bigger experience, but something like that. So you can think big. Yeah.
Thank you. And Gustavo, do you have a question for Kim?
Yes, I do. Hi, Kim. What do you feel were the most important teachers you had and musicians in your life? And what kind of lessons did they teach you and did you feel were more important to you in your musical career?
That's a huge question, my dear. Okay. Well, firstly, I worked with Walter Trampler for a year, and his sound was very much of a big influence on me. It was just so beautiful. He wasn't really a teacher, he taught by example. Excuse me. And then I had the great good fortune of working with Karen Tuttle. She was my major influence as a viola, how to deal with the viola in my earlier years. And she basically, her premise is that the body is also the resonance chamber. And we're going to talk a little bit about that this afternoon. But I came to her very, very tense and rigid. And it took some time to unwind all of that and to believe that there could be joy in the physical activity of playing and that it was connected to sound. And after that, my years at Marlborough, basically Felix Gallimere was my mentor there. He taught us all about the Second Viennese School, and he did a lot of the premiere performances with Schoenberg Berg and so on, and with his string quartet. So he had a direct line to all of that. But secondly, he also had that thing I was talking about where every sound that came out of him felt like a necessity. It had to be, and it had to be that way. And that was a general Marlborough attitude, but in particular, I learned it from him there. And then in my later years, more adult years, I encountered Georgi Kurtag, and he kind of revamped my entire way of thinking about the instrument and its relationship to music. So I'd say those 3 stages were the most notable for me.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. That leads me into a question that came from one of our viewers, and it's linked to Kurtag. It's a question from Thomas on YouTube, and he asks, in fact, it's a couple of questions altogether. Why is playing the music of Kurtag important for us to become better musicians? What fascinates you about his music? Approaching music by Ligeti and Kurtag, would you use similar tools to play this music language-wise, with both being Hungarian, even though they themselves express in different ways? Quite a lot there.
Well, I don't think that Kurtag's music necessarily is. If I understand the first question, it can teach you specific things, how you need to do specific things. In particular, how to use a pause. That's something that he's very, very interested in and uses all the time, that the pauses have character, meaning, and function. So that's something you learn. You also learn articulations, which are very specific, and to slur over 2 or 3 strings at a time. So he's very, very particular about all these things. But I think gesturally, you learn about the compactness of the gesture, the distillation, where there's no extra notes, the incredible structural integrity, and the use of rests. Now that, I think I answered question number 1. I forgot question number 2.
Approaching music by Ligeti and Kurtag, would you use similar tools to play this music language-wise, with both being Hungarian, although they express themselves in different ways?
Well, there's certain elements of the grammar and articulation that they have in common, of course. And one of them is the nature of a slur, which again has that depth to it, like a Bachian slur. It's not much different at all. But other than that, a Kurtag gesture takes place generally in a lot less time. And the structural integrity of a ligeti piece is much more mathematically as well as intervallically organized. And the mathematical piece of it is not something that I see in Kurtag. So structurally, they're very different. So they have to be approached differently. The characters are also different. In ligeti, we're talking about a major premise character, which is carried through and developed, whereas in a Kurtagian piece, more often than not, it's a dialogue between 2 or 3 quite varied characters. So yeah, it's different. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you. I'm going to throw another one at you now, which is different. Question from Marlon. Could Kim give advice, please, on how to free up the neck causing tension when playing the viola?
Yeah. Again, I'll go into detail this afternoon, but our goal is to operate with a talking posture so that the head is facing straight forward and that we use the weight of the skull, which Marlon is about 10 pounds. It's heavy. So if you were to relax your neck and just pretend you're in a really boring class and the professor's going on and on and on and you're about to fall asleep, that feeling of resting is what you want. You do not need to grip with the neck. All you need to do is rest those pounds on the chin rest. However, I do think that the chin rest has a false name. It should be called a jaw rest, because this point where the jaw ends, where this opens, that is the point or pivot point of contact, not the chin. If you put your chin as your point of contact, then you can be fairly relaxed, but you cannot release the neck. And I'll go into that further this afternoon, but for me, this release point at the top of the vertebrae is very important, and you can only do that if your pivot point is in fact the back of the jaw, touching the so-called chin rest, which is a jaw rest, not a chin rest. Yeah.
That makes great sense. Thank you.
Okay.
And indeed, we look forward to your seminar later on. A final question for you, and it's a quick one from Margaret. Yeah. What is your favorite relatively unknown viola piece?
Oh.
Putting you on the spot.
Let me think.
Relatively unknown.
You know, I've maybe these are known to you, but there are a couple of pieces by Joachim that are very beautiful, romantic works, especially the one with variations. I've recently discovered how beautiful they are, but I would tend to answer that more with the 21st century and say there's a piece by Xiaolong, which he recently also transcribed for viola, wrote for cello, which I find very beautiful. I would look among new treasures myself.
Very good.
Yeah.
And would you just spell Xiaolong for Margaret in case she's watching and doesn't know how to?
Zhoulong.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I hope that's helpful for Margaret. And that is all the questions that have come through here. It just remains for me to thank our 3 young participants for taking part. And of course to you, Kim, thank you so much for the time, expertise. And now we let you rest a little bit, because at 6 o'clock Irish time, we will have your seminar, and that will be fascinating. as well. We do look forward to that as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
Okay.
and thank you to the National Concert Hall in Dublin, and to everybody in Singapore, Portugal, and London. We will see you again.
Okay, bye
for
for now.
Bye bye. Bye bye.